your experience, why do you think it's so hard and has been so hard for young people to listen to what their pop said, to follow the instruction, either dad, mom, grandmom, whoever it is? Why do you think that's so hard for people to do?
Probably because it's a disconnection from the youth. Just like they would say that we started something, we kind of dropped the ball on that, and that's that. Like which they would say that the elders dropped the ball with the youth. So if you're not connecting with the youth like that, so say for instance, if you're in the neighborhood or any of the hoods, and you're looking at these younger kids who grow up, they're looking at us and idolizing the people that's selling dope, the people that's driving the expensive cars, the jewelry, all of that. So they're looking up to that. What else do they have to look up to if you don't have anything at the time? So you look up to that. You look up to the older, they're supposed to be the older G's, you're looking up to them. Now, certain times in certain generations, during the time, certain people are like, man, get your ass get your ass in the house or go to school. Don't hang out, don't do this, don't do that. But as the years went past, a lot of the older people dropped the ball on linking in with the youth. So the youth basically feel like the older people don't respect them. So they stop giving respect and just start doing their own things. So that's why it's like a disconnection to this day. And it's probably going to remain that way until all the people start stepping up to the plate to mentor and get in. And a lot of the youth is like looking at, well, shit, y'all left us out there. So don't come around right now. Y'all wasn't trying to come around at that particular time. I mean, certain youth get it. They respect certain people. So if you a person that was basically respected in the hood and they got that, they'll listen to you. Certain people they would not listen to. So it's like how you basically identify with them, how you talk to them, how you treat them, all that matters.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. And that's something, another project you did a lot of work on with Make Way for the Motherlode with Yo-Yo.
Right,
I
right.
I always really appreciated that album. One, I thought it was great, but I also thought, one, this is a woman talking about not being a hoe, about being smart,
Right.
about doing respectable things, but also not putting up with any trash or any junk from a man or anybody.
Right.
So as you guys were working on Make Way for the Motherlode, what was the production feel and the aesthetic that Yo-Yo and you guys as a team wanted to bring?
Well, she had her IBWC, which is the Intelligent Black Women's Coalition. She just wanted to stand up for the women, at that time. Because you had a lot of groups that was out at that time. So she didn't want to just do the typical thing that most female was doing at that time. Like, Eazy had basically like the hoes with attitudes and all that at that time. They was basically look like strippers and was clowning. She didn't want to go that route. She didn't want to go that route at that time, which, I can't blame her. So she wanted to stand for something a little bit more than that, still be hip hop, still show that, she could smash and do her thing at the same time to give respect without having to lay on her back, without having to, disrespect herself.
Yeah, and the album kicks off with Stand Up for Your Rights, which I thought,
Right. Right.
speaks to your point exactly. And that one, what involvement did you have with that intro, that interlude for the album?
Well, some of her production was already done when I came into it to do that, to basically be her DJ and do all of that. So I came in on certain parts of like stomping to the 90s, added all the cuts and all the stuff to that. The What Can I Do? The damn, there's a number. So I'm thinking back,
Well,
man, that's
I
that's
got
like a while ago. So I'll be having to think.
no, put a lid on it's another one of them, but
Yeah, well, put a lid on it. All that time, during the time. Rest in peace, Ricky Harris. He was
right.
the first person talking on it. He was wake up, wake up, wake up, get that lynch mob shit out of here and all that. Straight R&B. Yeah, he
Yeah,
knocked that out first before he started doing, with Snoop.
yeah, for sure.
Before he
People
started
forget.
messing with Snoop. So he was around during that time. But yeah, a lot of the production was kind of done, like sister, and all that stuff. And I just added all the elements that I just thought that can add to the pot. So
Right.
whatever I felt that was needed that can be added, and whatever ideas I can think about at the time, hey, try this, put this in there, put that in there. Jinx would be like, all right, put it in there. Let's see if it works.
Okay. Yeah, because
Can't play with my yo-yo, all of that.
yeah, we'll put a lid on it too. I just thought it's striking when you listen to it now, her rapping about not being a hoe and have
Right,
a woman having too much sex and having
right,
safe sex if you're gonna have sex and all that other stuff.
right.
Because we're in the
Right.
polar opposite era of that right now.
Oh man, beyond. Cause see, during that time, you had the MC Lights, you had the Queen Latifahs, you had what the Body and Soul, Sugar and Spice at that time, Finesse and Saint Quest, all different type of females. So everybody was like standing up for Black Dane and standing up unity and sisterhood, all that at that time. Besides the poor righteous teachers, brand Nubians, all that was out at that time. Public Enemy.
yeah,
So that was the direction she wanted to go in.
yeah, and even Salt and Pepper, of course, who
Right, right,
you
right,
scratch Salt and Pepper and Public Enemy throughout, put a lid on
right,
it, and of course, there's a huge Public Enemy connection, but the influence.
right,
So
right, right. From when he went solo to do America's Most Wanted, and that was a good move. That was a good move. Once Cube left and went solo, and he basically, I was sitting in the car with him. That's at the time when he had the Suzuki Jeep, and he called Chuck up and was like, talking to him, and Chuck was like, "Man, I'm down with you. Let's make this happen. Let's connect." And that was a beautiful thing, for Cube at the time.
yeah. So
And
what?
it stamped him because that was like the East and the West connected, along with Eric Sattler, Hank Shockley, Keith Shockley.
It was
Me and Jim just
very
added to
powerful.
that. Right, right.
And what was was there? I'd always read and heard about too that Cube was also trying to get Sam Sever. Is that
Yeah.
real to your knowledge or no?
Well, he was at that time. I don't know what took place with that.
Okay.
So, I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if they couldn't come to an agreement or what took place.
Yeah. Okay. And then another song where you were working on with Yo Yo was the Sisterland. You did the cuts on there too.
Right.
And the IBWC, she shouts that out. But
Mm-hmm.
for you, I wanted you to speak on because you got Cube, who's obviously highly intelligent. You got Yo Yo, who's highly intelligent. And speaking about being intelligent and how there's value and power and strength in that. So
Right.
I wanted you to explain from you, because on the one hand, I know from growing up and being around a lot of things, being smart or whatever is corny to
Right.
some people, being well read, being educated. But on the flip side of that, you had the most respected artists saying, no, I'm intelligent. No, be smart.
Right. Right.
So how did that kind of work when you guys and you would be around fans or you travel or different things? How did that work? Could people embracing that uh being proud of being smart, being proud of being an intelligent Black woman? How did that travel and
I
affect you?
mean, she got a standing ovation. They embraced it. They liked it then. You know what I'm saying? Plus, she was from the West. So they liked that. And she was connected with all of us from the lynch mob. So it's like she's the first female well, really the only female from the lynch mob. So it's
Right.
like they embraced that. They loved her. So it's like that's why she get the love in the pub that it is today.
Yeah, Yo-Yo's
She
still
had to
going strong.
maintain, she had to maintain that to smash and do what she had to do to basically survive in the game. And there's
Hmm.
certain things that she chose not to do later down the line that she didn't want to go a certain route because she already came out looking a certain way. So why would you contradict yourself? So she chose not to go that route.
Right. Okay.
As music changed later down the line and it came into what we have now is like real crazy.
It's wild that we can say that given that when we
Right,
were around, they
right.
said our era was crazy.
Right. Well, it's just like, we took this is like one of my mentors is Wayne Vaughn from he did Let's Groove Tonight, Earth, Wind and Fire. His shout out to his wife, Wanda Vaughn from Emotions. But we used to have our little debates about that. And he's like, boy, rap ain't gonna last that long. They're gonna water it down and it's gonna be commercial, and then, you know, he'd say the stuff when you saw Hammer come out, and once it come commercial, that's it. They're gonna start to control it, and the company's gonna control it, and, you know, we'll go back and forth and all. He's like, boy, rap wouldn't be nothing without R&B. So we would go back and forth, and, you know, I'll be in there with him, dealing with, like, you know, the Brother Johnsons, Gladys Knight, Nancy Wilson, and all of them. So it's like I learned a lot from him at the same time, put me up on game, besides looking at other people in the industry that was before me, from the Bobcats, the DJ Pools, the King T's, the Coolios, and, you know, all that Egyptian Lover, and the Tone Lokes, and Def Jeffs, and all of that.
A lot of icons in the game.
Right, right.
So that being said, too, I remember from interviewing a lot of artists, being around things. Why was it purely a musical thing that the R&B artists also didn't seem to like about rap? Because it seemed like they didn't on the one hand, they didn't seem to understand it, of course, but beyond that, I think because of how rap was created, they didn't also seem to respect it. Is that?
Yeah, certain ones didn't. Certain R&B people embraced it, and then certain ones really didn't respect it because, you know, within that time, I wouldn't say it was fairly new, but it was, you know, blowing up. And a lot of them, you know, when you look at a lot of the artists that come back in the days, a lot of them, just like kind of some of the stuff we went through. A lot of artists, some artists would get paid, some would sell their publishing off, some would get beat, some would sign bad deals. And, you know, that's been going on since the music industry started, you know, at that time, because we couldn't control everything. Like when you're looking at ASCAP and all that, like now, you know, we can go on there, go on the internet, because we had the internet. Back then we didn't have the internet. So you can go on there and log in whatever stuff you're doing or whatever production you're doing. But at that time, you had to count on the record companies to do that. So they would put what they wanted to put, you know, regardless of what you did. And that's how a lot of artists got beat. But, you know, a lot of people didn't want us to sample certain things. Like one time, I think we was gonna sample like War. At one time, I think the Slipping in the Darkness, the boom, doom, 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 the same thing that I don't know, man, mind tripping, mind tripping. Poor Righteous Teachers used for Rock This Funky Joint.
Okay.
You know, at that time was using, but they wanted, I don't know, they wanted too much money. That was kind of hate, and it really wasn't worth it at that time. And a lot of artists was like, R&B people was like, you know, they kind of hate on it a little bit and do that. And then they slowly start embracing. Some would be like, okay, we don't have a problem. Sample it, do what you do. Because they look at it like we paying homage. That's all we was looking at it is paying homage to the people that was before us because they made dope music at that time. Doing all the sampling and doing all that, that's how everybody started.
Yeah,
like I started off doing a lot of hip hop stuff. I started off doing a lot of hip hop stuff before I got into doing anything for, you know, of course, doing stuff for Cube, you're doing West Coast gangster shit. Well, they call it gangster shit. They gave it that title, but we just say street reality, basically, because all he rapped about is what he saw and what basically we went through in life.
Right. Yeah.
So that's basically what that was all about.
And
so looking at all that, you know, we would get props to do that, sample this. Oh, that's dope. That's this. You know, that's that. That's that. And we really weren't musicians at that time, so we relied on sampling and doing that. And a lot of times we would hire a person to come in and play bass and play keys. Like we use like Hammy Wave and a lot of other different people to come in and play certain stuff that to add to the sampling and do all of that.
Yeah.
Which that helped because it kind of brought back a lot of the R&B people. So it kind of worked hand in hand. So we sampled them to do whatever. They got paid for doing that. At the same time, we kind of relevanted and brought them back at the same time where they can come around and do stuff. Like Roger Troutman, rest in peace. He used to capitalize off the rappers doing that. So he would embrace it. Like if you give him a sample or you do whatever you do, he would tell you, okay, don't use the sample. I'll come in and play it. Which was smart for him because it keeps him alive. It keeps him in the game. It keeps him down with the youth and all of that. And that's very smart. Instead of hating. Because like it's all about making money at the end of the day, and it's all about creativity at the end of the day. It's all about embracing music at the end of the day. So it took a long time just to fight through this because a lot of people didn't think rap would last. They just thought, oh, it's going to disappear and do that. That's probably why a lot of reasons why a lot of the R&B people really did trip off of it.
Yeah.
But it helped them step their game up also because they learned stuff. Just like we learned stuff off of them, they learned stuff off of us.
Yeah, and I'd say the best example now is Charlie Wilson. Look at his
Right.
career.
Right. Hey, look, he wasn't a fool. So he tied in, linked up with Snoop, and hey, been going. Any other artists, any other R&B artists that do that, they stay around.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to do all the genders of music. You can't be scared to not want to do things. I'm always down to do everything, rock to country to pop to do all of that. Like we did a rock song. Me and RBX did a few of them. We did a rock song with Korn called Rough Enough for a soundtrack. We did that with that. We also did a song called Born to Be Wild. We flipped that and did that with Body Count. Rest in peace, D.O.C from Body Count.
Yeah.
So it's like, test the waters. You can't be
Right.
scared to test the waters. You got to be able to do all different types of music. If you're a producer, you should be able to do all different types of music. It shouldn't just be one category. Like a lot of people locked me into only jacking for beats, which I did a lot of production on a lot of stuff, but they locked me into the jacking for beats. No matter what, I can't run away from that. So I just embraced it. Hey, so I say, Chili Chill still making the tracks move and just all of that. And, I embrace it. But it's more to me than just that because I can do rock, I can do pop, I can do jazz, because I've been around to do all.